Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you are all well. So today we are going to discuss the first problem in the TLE Eliminator CP sheet, 1000 rated problems. The problem name is swap and delete. So let's get started. You are given a binary string S, a string consisting of only zeros and ones. You can perform two types of operations on the string S. Delete one character from the string. This operation costs 1 coin. Swap any pair of characters in the string. This operation is free, that is, it costs 0 coin. You can perform these operations any number of times and in any order. Let's name a string you got after performing the operations above as t. The string t is good if for every I from 1 to the length of t, all the characters are not equal to each other. The empty string is always good. Note that you are comparing the resulting string t with the initial string s. What is the minimum total cost to make the string t good? We will be given a string s. So for each test case, we need to print one integer. That is the minimum total cost to make the string t good. Now, since it's given that the empty string is always good, so the direct answer can be the length. The maximum answer can be the length of the string. That is our maximum possible answer. That we delete all the characters in the string and we give an empty string as the answer. So let's now analyze the third test case to understand the question. We have 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So let's now write the string again. So these both characters are the same. So we need to either have a 1 here or we have to delete the whole string after it. So I have a 1 here. So I will swap them. This cost me nothing. So our cost is still 0. Let's have a cost here. That is still 0. Now I come to this index. These both are different. So I again don't do anything. Our cost is still 0. Now these both are the same. So I'll again find a 1 here to replace. Now I'll get a 1 here. I can take this one and I will replace it. So our string becomes this. So again these are different now. So our cost is again 0. Since I swapped, the cost doesn't increase. Coming for this index, these both are different. So again the cost is 0. Now coming to this index, I need a 0 here in the final string. So I'll have to get a 0. So I have 1 0 after this at this index. So I will take this and I will swap them. My cost is still 0. Now coming to this index, since both of them are equal, I need to find a 0 and replace it. So this is 1. I'll place a 0 here and I will replace it with this 1. Now again coming to this index, both of them are different, so I don't need to do anything. These both are the same, so again I'll have to find a 1 now. So I have a 1 here, I'll replace it and change it. These both are different and these both are different, so that's why our cost is 0. I hope you understood this explanation. Now let's take the fourth sample test case. 1 1 1 1 0 0. I'll write it again. 1 1 1 1 0 and 0. So since the first characters are the same, I'll have to replace it with the 0. So I'll replace it with this 0. I will delete them and I will replace them. The cost is still 0 since it's a swapping operation. That doesn't cost us anything. Now I'll go to the first index. These both are also the same. So I'll replace this one with this 0. I have done this. Now coming to the second index. These both are the same, but I cannot find a 0 here now in my string. So I'll have to delete them. So I will delete them. So I will delete this index. So this is gone. So my string becomes 0, 0, 1, 1 and 1. Now again this and this are same. So again I'll have to delete this. So after this first operation, my cost increased by 1 since this is a deletion operation. So now after deleting this, my string was 0, 0, 1, 1. Again my cost incremented to 2. Now again comparing the second and the second index here, they are still the same. So I will again increment my cost by 1 and I will delete this index. So again it is 0, 0, 1. Now again I will compare them and again they are same. So I'll have to delete this and my cost incremented to 4. So my final string is 1, 1, 0, 0. These both are different. So this was the initial string S and this is our final string T. And the cost was 4 and that is the answer. I hope you understood the explanation. Now let's see what we need to do. One thing we can note here is that we don't need to worry about the position of the zeros and ones. We just need to worry about the count of them. Like after this index, like after a set index, how many zeros or ones do I have? That is what I need to take care of. The swapping part can be done. Since the cost of that operation is 0, we can swap any number of times. So we can just count the number of ones and the number of zeros in our string. Whenever we find a 1, we can decrement the 0. Whenever we find a 0, we will decrement our 1. Once the count of 1 or the count of 0 becomes 0, then we won't be able to swap the elements. This would be the case, then we'll have to delete all the elements at this index in order to get our string t. So we can just run a for loop and we will decrement accordingly. Once our count becomes 0, we can break and we have to delete all the characters after it. Let's dry run for this sample test case now. Like we have 1 1 1 1 0 0. So our initial count of 0 is 2 and our count of 1 is 4. So initially starting from here, we have a 1. So we will decrement this 0, the count of zeros to 1. So we'll place a 1 here. Now again we get a 1, then we'll again decrement this to 0. Now on this index, now I again need a 0, but I don't have that. So I will break from here and I'll have to delete this whole string. So simply our answer would be the string length minus the breakpoint. Those many number of operations would be required to make the string good. You understood the explanation? Now in this sense, the number of zeros and ones are all equal. So we don't need any number of operations. That's why the answer is 0. Now a person can say that since in the second test case, the difference is the answer. Like the count of ones is 2 and the count of 0 is 1. So the answer is 1. But we cannot take the difference of the two counts. Why? Because this test case won't pass then. Otherwise the answer should have been 2, but the answer is 4. So just try to dry run it and you will understand why. Because we need to delete the ending elements also. We need to delete all of them. So that will cost us an additional number of operations. So now let's write a little bit of code. We'll have an input that is string. We will traverse over the string for the count of 0 and the count of 1. Now we will again traverse over it. Now if the character is 1, then we will decrement the zeros. Otherwise we will decrement the ones. So at any point the count of the zeros becomes less than 0 or the count of ones becomes less than 0, we will break here and that will be it. And our answer would be the length of the string minus the breaking point. So I hope you understood the code. Now let's move on to code the same in C++. So I have my boilerplate code here. We will be given a string str. Let n be the length of the string. I'll make a variable count of zeros that will denote the count of the zeros and count of ones that will denote the count of ones. I will traverse over this. And if the character is a 1, then I will increment the count of ones. Otherwise I will increment the count of zeros. Now I will have a breakpoint variable that is initially set to n. Like I don't need to break anything, I don't need to delete anything. Now I will iterate again. Now if the character is a 1, then I will decrement the zeros. Otherwise I will decrement the ones. Now if at any moment my zeros become less than 0, if my count of zeros become less than 0 or the count of ones becomes less than 0, at that moment that will be a breakpoint. Breakpoint would be I and we will break here. In the end we will just print the n minus the breakpoint. So that is all we need to do in this code. Now let's try for the sample test cases. Answer should be 1104 and that is the answer we get. So our code runs for the sample test cases. Now let's try to submit it. It is running and it got accepted. That means our solution and our approach is correct. I hope you understood the problem. Comment down what was your approach for solving the same problem. The solution link would be in the description section. Do check it out. Also, this is a playlist for all the problems in the CP sheet. Do check out all the other problems as well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends. Thank you.